So, it seems last year, and perhaps even before that, excuse me, mayhaps, there was some drama between perennial streamer guy, internet person, Moist Cr1tikal, aka Charlie, and Sneako. Wannabe alt-right provocateur. He's a clown. He's an idiot. Actually, both of them are idiots. Yeah, there was angry tweets and both of them brandishing guns and rifles and such, and it's a whole bunch of stupid shit. However, things have recently taken a turn because Charlie is upset. Shit did get real lately, and they had a conversation and some stuff was leaked and some traps were set, and I actually think there's some stuff we could talk about here as it relates to other things that I've been going through. So strap in, sports fans, because this is gonna be me talking about the Moist Cr1tikal, aka Charlie, and Sneako, aka punch me in the face that this guy exists, and their internet drama. Twitter is an interesting thing. I can't say I ever paid too much attention to it, but I've become quite acquainted with it over the last year since it was the main forum with which the Clout Demon used to try and eviscerate me. So, you know, I am hearing Charlie talk a lot about it in his explanation video, and I'm sure a lot of other creators put up with some bullshit on Twitter as well. I don't know, are there happy people on Twitter? Are people enjoying themselves? Fucking Twitter though, right? Elon, big fan, but it is corrosive. Just delete it, throw the whole thing into the river. Man, listen, when my shit breaks and I'm rich, Elon, I'll give you the money back. I don't know, I turned into a character in The Sopranos. I meant the jacket. All right, Twitter is awful, and it does come up quite a bit in this story. So we are not going to hold back. We're going to talk about Twitter, and you know, the person that almost killed me. Yeah, just looking at our friends and some of the very few people that comment, and it's like they're sick. They're sick and they're hurting, and I don't begrudge them that, but they're hurting people as well. Twitter fucking sucks. There you go.
I think this is going to be where I hang up the jersey. You can put it in the rafters, throw it in the dumpster, but I think I'm just going to be, you know, sailing off into the sunset here and just reducing the amount of stuff I do online, which he completely understood. So he made the announcement just letting people know that, and then that got spun on Twitter and Reddit as Moist Cr1tikal's taking an indefinite hiatus and quitting the internet fundamentally.
Folks, there's actually a good point here to be made. What's that quote? I want to say it's by Mark Twain or your mother. A lie can travel halfway around the world. Fuck. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting its pants on. Or is it shoes? I don't know. I'm wearing neither. Ladies, should I talk about my big feet? You guys really enjoyed that the first time. That's just how much a lie can travel around the world by accident or broken telephone or happenstance. What if there's a head liar? What if there's a mistress of propaganda, let's call her, perhaps a clout demon behind things and an active smear campaign that they're profiting from? Remember this, sports fans, it's gonna be relevant later on.
That's the story that they ran with, and that's what most people saw, not the actual post.
There's a good point to be made here, folks. Whether through by happenstance, accident, malicious intent, sometimes a story that is very different than what's actually going on, or just a perspective that's so retarded, it can take flight. And, you know, I think a bunch of people might just throw up their hands and go, I was sharing, I heard it's broken telephone. But these things don't feel good for the people at the center.
Now I only did it out of an obligation because people called me out, and then I also got accused of...
Because people called me out, well, people are upset. Moist Cr1tikal did something and some folks are mad. You know, Bill Burr said this, and Joe Rogan, and it's sad to see Charlie or anyone impacted by this. So even hearing him talk about people calling him out, it's like, do you tie your whole self-worth and your whole image to nameless faces people that you'll never meet?
Being a transphobe because I didn't use Ava Tyson's preferred pronouns, which were she, her. I didn't know that. I thought just calling Ava Tyson by her name was...
I can't even watch this shit. This hurts to watch, and it makes me wonder, it causes me to wonder how many creators are heavily affected by this. Like I said, I've heard some of my favorite comedians, entertainers, musicians, you name it. I've heard them talk about battles in the comment section. These people are mad we didn't fix our mic, and it's like, it could just be 3 angry people. You have no idea. We don't have the ability to sort out the information. So I don't know. I think Asman was talking about this in a video recently.
You can't give a fuck, man. That's why being a streamer sucks mental health wise. Oh, being a streamer is awful for people's mental health, man. It is. It's real bad.
Being a content creator is not a real safe haven. It's not a great place for positive mental health. And being a streamer is even worse. That's got to be at the bottom of the barrel. And Yeah, you have to put up with a lot of shit. You know, other people could just avoid the comments and just not read them. But, you know, Charlie's job, my job, Asmon's job, notice how I'm putting myself in the same category as them. It necessitates it to a degree. You know what I mean? It would be very difficult to block it out. I have to wonder if creators struggle with this in general. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's other people that feel the way Charlie does. You can never be woke enough, Charles. You can never be woke enough for them. It's a snake eating its own tail. Oh, you're not progressive enough. You didn't do this. Dude, just say what you feel, stand your ground, and if you fuck up, admit it. Folks, there's another great quote that's really relevant here. It's by... I'm just not going to say who it's by, but it's still a good quote nonetheless. I don't know the recipe for success, but the recipe for failure is trying to please everybody. Charlie, you could post a picture of Puppy saying our dog's awesome. You're going to find some morons that disagree with it or just want to provoke you. You can't please everybody. Why even try? Be who you are, say what you feel and think, be open to changing your mind. And if people don't like it, that probably says more about them and how they woke up than it does about you. You can't win everything. Oh my God, that sounds exhausting. To relate it back to my situation, I mean, I didn't really agree to any of this, but going through the comments, it became critically important in a way that was moist. That I learned to remind myself going through the comments. I would have to put on like a psychological gas mask and realize that what these people were typing, they were probably just going for likes and dislikes and clicks. They don't know a single goddamn thing about me, and they know a lot of things they were force-fed or spoon-fed that aren't true. People are really dumb and really angry, and the internet seems to attract a lot of it. And no one I know that's happy or healthy, my hand hurts. Nobody I know that's happy or healthy is on the internet dragging down, judging, or mocking strangers. Nobody. Not a single person I know. And I've got some amazing friends and family that helped keep me alive this past year. So I think you guys can extrapolate for... Oh, wait, Charlie's fans. I think you guys can take away from that. I'm calling you guys stupid.
Okay. And I had also heard when I went to the Mr. Beast thing, someone refer to Ava Tyson with they. And for that, I was annihilated by a good chunk of Twitter. And then annihilated by another good chunk of Twitter because I called out Sneako.
Whew, man, this is a lot. This is tough to watch as well. I've even seen Joe Rogan fall prey to this, where some hapless, witless loser went through probably thousands of hours of podcast and found any time he used the N-word, they took it out of context and just made a compilation video. I mean, it's not great, but context is extremely important. And it hurt me to my core that Joe apologized. Don't ever apologize for these people. An apology won't cut it. They're not looking for learning. They're not looking for apologies. They're looking for control and to lash out. This goes out to Charlie, Joe, other creators, people consuming content. Be yourself. Say what you mean. Stand by it. Hope that gives credence to other people to do the same. If there's a misunderstanding, it'll come out in the wash. Talk about it. It's a main theme in this video. Talk to people. Settle misunderstandings. If they're not listening to you, if they're being an asshole, walk away. You always have that right. It's definitely much more preferable than posting the whole thing on Twitter and doxing them, because then you're going to get... I bet you, Charles, that anytime someone writes a comment like this, there's not a single person that doesn't think, how many likes is this going to get? How many dislikes? You know, I noticed a lot of comments in the video you have about me. They were recycled by other videos about exposing creeps. And it's like, what the fuck? I was about to take that personally, but Mr. 20-year-old vapor lives at home with his parents and doesn't know a thing about the world and hasn't accomplished anything and may never, has a comment about me. And it's like, you made that in another video. They're just sharing and recycling the same shit. What a shame it would be if I took that to heart. Charlie, what a shame it would be if you took that to heart, man. Oof, this all stinks. This stinks. I don't like it. And you know, you guys can see that Twitter can be such a toxic, awful place. If there's nice, wholesome shit on Twitter, I have not seen it. Now, granted, my experience the past 13 months has been different than, I'm going to go ahead and say, anyone on the planet. I think that one of the reasons Twitter can be so awful, and maybe Charlie could speak to this, I sure can, is the human nature inside, the ability to form in these nameless, faceless mobs and just pile on people, the dogpiling. You and your friends, you guys talk about this? Oh my God, I was annihilated at work the other day for having this take. Oh my God, my boss called me out, but then I reverse called him out. You know what this is? Oh, this is good. You guys remember at South Park? Who lives in the West with the willow trees? Sexual harassment Panda. Basically, the whole town is just suing each other for sexual harassment. Is this good? Is this better? Is this what we want? Do we want people afraid? I mean, there's a reason Joey Swole is so fucking popular.
Women are accusing men of being perverts and harassing them for simply looking their way in the gym and posting it online to their hundreds of thousands of followers.
Because people are sick and tired of women, not just women. I don't know men doing this too often, but they're sick and tired of seeing people try to farm other people's lives for clout. And I learned about these terms from that Asmongold video about that blonde chick that tried to farm her father, the breakdancing dude, and he reverse farmed her. She tried to farm him for clout, and he just Uno reversed. That was beautiful, man. That taught me a lot. Also, I want to breakdance, but I have back problems. There's a whole bunch of confirmation bias, and fuck it, get him, get her, we got our pitchforks. Shit, they're lazy now. They don't even have to go buy the tiki torches or pitchforks. They can just be a dickhead online without any recourse. I think we should go back to what Jay and Silent Bob did. We should just find those people, walk up to their house, and be like, hey, are you Bob864? And they'll be like, yeah. And you just kick them. Just kick them once. But like most people, if they just got slapped or punched in the face once, it would work. Give my fucking hat. I think the reason so many people enjoy that is because there's a lot of people out there that really do need to get slapped or straight up have the shit kicked out of them, but that's a topic for another day. And one of the reasons it sucks a massive dick, and not in a fun way like old Hot Tua. Shout out to Haley. Send me a message.
Hawk Tude, spit on it, spit on it!
Now she looks like a Disney princess. So yeah, you know, I can see the effect this has had on Charlie in this current situation, but I have to wonder, other creators as a whole. You know, I'm a big fan of Asmon. Shout out to the editor. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. And it just doesn't faze him. But if he were a lesser man, or wasn't so busy doing the rot maxing, or just wasn't such a sweet main tank, WoW Classic, what's up, ranked to 14, get at me, would it affect him? What about to the uninitiated? There's a negative bias in our head that had survival value like 300 or 400 years ago. You do a show, you get 100 compliments, and 2 people say, you stink. What are you going to remember? We all know it, the negative things. Because 400 or 500 years ago, Granny got eaten by an alligator was way more important to remember than, oh, Granny got off 3 times and picked some berries. I'm picturing my own grandparents naked, and it's no one's fault but my own. Fuck. Yeah, it had survival value. We had to keep moving. We had to keep focused on stuff. Get food, get shelter, make fun of Moist Cr1tikal.
So all that shit that people keep dogpiling and spouting about me about how I want all kids to go out there and get their genitals chopped off is just fucked up.
The other thing Charlie's talking about here, it's a really important point. He's talking about how it felt to him, how all these people just dogpiled on, how he was like the flavor of the week, and they just, oh, it's cool, let's go kick this person. Having been the focus of some behavior like that, I can tell you it is pretty brutal. And it kind of makes you wonder how many of these people genuinely even believe the things they're typing or saying, or they're just doing it to get a reaction, or feeling like they just want to be a part of something. One of my favorite podcasts, it's a Tim Ferriss podcast, and it's got AJ Jacobs on it. His podcast is all about gratitude. And one of the ways to enhance that is declare war on the negative bias in your head. Remind yourself as much as possible that we are hardwired genetically to see the negative stuff and not focus on the positive. How do you defeat that? You know, folks, I don't know that all this commenting and reacting and slinging dirt and dogpiling on each other and just existing online, I don't know if it's good for Charlie or really any of us. It's obviously causing Charlie pain, and I do want to commend him on speaking up about that. It's not easy. Any kind of depressos you're dealing with, any kind of struggle, mental health, anything, talk about it. Talk about it. You do not know around you who is dealing with the same thing. I'm going to start crying. Talk about it. Talk to each other. And God damn it, just like Sneako and Charlie tried to do, just like I would have loved to in my situation. Talk. Clear misunderstandings up. If you're uncomfortable, get the fuck out of there. Fine. But for everything else, just talk. I promise you, the things that we have in common vastly outweigh the things that separate us, folks. Just talk to each other. Just be upfront and honest. Always greet people with empathy. All right, I'm getting on my fucking soapbox. So, you know, it does bring up questions to me, like, what is the internet for? What was it originally intended for? I mean, online banking is great. You know, I love getting Spotify and whatnot, but, you know, what the fuck is the internet?
The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. Grab your dick and double click for porn. Porn, porn. Trekkie. Sorry, Kate Monster.
Guys, I'm old. I'm old as shit. I'm old enough to remember when Facebook had walls and wasn't trying to start wars between people for money. Yeah, man. I mean, the dogpiling thing, Charlie, and getting ganged up on, unfortunately, if we want to talk about evolutionary psychology, that's in us. If you can label or make someone an other, they're white, they're black, they're Jewish, they're Hootsie, they're Tootsie, their skin's darker or whiter, they're trans, they're gay, they're straight. This person messaged a woman and she's so uncomfortable. If we can make someone an other, people can not just feel okay being unspeakably cruel and awful to them, they can actually feel morally justified. They can think like, you know what? I'm just a sweetheart and a person. I've got a heart of pure light. And if this person just wasn't so awful, like I would be like good natured and courteous all the time. Like I don't enjoy tormenting people, but this person's an other. So let me just fucking dox them and ruin their entire life. Aha. And, you know, I don't really want to pick on Charlie here. That's the furthest thing from my intention, but it's come to my attention that he has made a career off of clowning on people and calling them out. And even though it's a big part of this culture, it seems now it's happened to him. And that seems to be a lot of people's gotcha moment is, oh, we can't handle it. So I wonder, is this a teachable moment for you? So yeah, guys, there's definitely something in here for just piling on people and confirmation bias. And my goodness, when it rains, it pours online. Can relate. We'll circle back to that. You guys need to know what happened to me. If we're talking about people's roles and things, whether it's leaving a comment, dogpiling, sharing stuff about people that's true or maybe not true, where's the responsibility? Is there an ethical responsibility within us as people consuming this media, but also the creators? Is there a responsibility to do a bit more due diligence, to ask yourself what you're really doing? Are you contributing to society getting worse or better? I don't know. It's fucking YouTube, man. You know, as it becomes clear what happened to me this past year and how and why it happened, I'm wondering if this is an opportunity. I'm hoping this is an opportunity for creators who make this kind of content to explore what their role was in this. Because I think this is something that happens a lot and it kind of slips through the cracks. I think it would be helpful, would it be helpful rather, if people considered their impact a little bit more. I tend to hope the best in people. I think that's something that Charlie says later on too.
And I really regret not doing a better job here. It's not something I should have even done in the first place. I just have a tendency to really hope for the best out of people. And I was really hoping that I and most people were wrong about Sneako's perspective on the age of consent.
So I hear this young man talking about the golden rule of doing unto others. That's important. I think there's hope for him. That's good. You know, I would go so far as to say there's an implied set of standards, unwritten rules, if you will, about how to govern each other in society. And some of those laws are like do unto others, don't be mean, don't fuck your neighbor's wife. Whoops. And a lot of those things that you want to avoid doing, they're kind of the opposite of being nice and kind. They're pretty damn brutal, I'd say. And it's unfortunate, but I think we all know this. Blood, sex, anger, people arguing, it sells. There's a great song by Tool called Vicarious. And it's true. You just want to live through people, but angry, sad, afraid people, they buy more shit on Amazon. They're more and more divided. It's better for the corporations. It's worse for us. And I can see that creators might sometimes be the victim of this type of thing. It's a double-edged sword. You want to be the one out there clowning on people, you might become the clown. But I think it would be helpful if we all considered our roles in these things. And I think it would be best for you and all of us if you took this as an opportunity to own your part in this. How much of this did you create? How much do you at least reap the benefits off of? I don't know. I think these are good questions. You know, there's this weird thing that, like, I think kind of what Sneako did is he sort of tricked Charlie. And if I'm hearing Charlie correctly, he feels almost betrayed because he thought it was just a conversation to clear something up. It's like clipping people. It's like baiting them for a clip. The second he said that, Sneako just laughed like a little shithead, like with this big shit-eating grin. He knew he had him. That's not a conversation. Oh, what a shame if you're talking to somebody and you think, oh, hey, we're just having a chat here to clear something up, and they're not even listening to you. They're just trying to fuck with you. No bueno. So to all you folks watching out there, the consumers and the creators, as more becomes clear as to what happened to me and what was done to me this past year, and you know what the role of the consumers and the content creators that jumped in, I think it's necessary for you guys to ask yourselves, like, what impact might you have had? Like, you know, I'm a real person. So I do think, knowing all this, guys, you can't say you don't anymore. There's an ethical responsibility here. There's a set of standards we all agree on. Some are pretty obvious, and it's a little tough to quantify them on the internet, but I still think they can be there. It really brings up some important questions about communication in the online landscape and how things are going to change in the future.
As I've said since the very beginning of this channel, I'm always willing to engage with people I disagree with, and I thought that maybe there was a chance I misunderstood what he was trying to say, even though it's still abhorrent.
If I'm hearing Charlie correctly, he's saying that they seem to be, him and Sneako, maybe having a misunderstanding. He wanted to clear it up, which is, I think it's a noble thing to do. This is how people learn how to treat each other. Oh, you're going to misunderstand me, I'm going to misunderstand you. That's fine. Let's talk about it.
That's a huge problem. That's a big fucking problem. So if there was something that he was like trying to say but failing to do so, I was willing to at least hear it.
That's really nice of you, Charlie. You're willing to have a conversation with someone that you disagree, even that you think you disagree with. I commend you on that. I think that's a really important rule to have in society. But in my particular situation, it would have been great to have that opportunity. I didn't get it before the rug was pulled out under my feet. They screen recorded it and went right to Twitter. They cosplayed a victim, pretended that they were so mad that their privacy was invaded. Then this individual began doxing me and terrorizing me and my family and friends, all the while soliciting donations in 4 ways. There might be one more I'm forgetting. 4 to 6 ways. Yes, they made lots of money while doing this crime. And I said crime. You're goddamn right. Another thing Charlie said is, if Sneako thought X amount of thing was true, if he thought kids should do this or whatever, to have his level of power and influence, that would be irresponsible of Sneako. In his position, with his level of influence. Okay, Charlie, I'm looking right at you, brother. I'm looking right at you, buddy.
We're not your buddies, guy. I'm not your girlfriend.
So you do understand the concept of someone having an influence, and a level of influence, and that with great power must, god damn it, Spider-Man.
I do not want another single pop culture reference out of you for the rest of the trip, you understand?
With great power, Charlie, must come some fucking responsibility, just like an ounce, 1 iota. You do get that. You know what? I need to hold my guitar for comfort. I don't know why my capo's on the 1st fret. Folks, I'm not sure if you know what happened to me last year. I think most of you know about 5, maybe 10% of the story. I'm gonna give you the Cole's notes here. Last summer, around this time, I think it was June of last summer. Who am I kidding? I know when D-Day was. I was on Bumble and I saw a girl and she just had a badass bio. The shrug emoji just seemed really cool. So I decided to send her a message on Facebook. I sent her some DMs and she answered me very enthusiastically and invited me to explain further. A point that gets lost in the story with a lot of people, along with a lot of other very important details. She asked me to explain further. I like sending voice clips. I sent voice clips. And listen, I can admit it's an unorthodox approach. Most people couldn't think of even attempting it, let alone pulling it off. But I've met some amazing people this way. It's been very well received. So I'm still very confused with the reaction to it, but we'll get back to that. Then all of a sudden, things changed on a dime, and I entered into an episode of Black Mirror that I've been living in since that time about 13 months ago. So Charlie, I gotta say, I know how you feel in this instance. I wish that the other party would have wanted to have a conversation to clear something up. I did not get that opportunity before I was slapped in the face and pushed down by the entire internet. Charlie is saying that if this is just a crazy misunderstanding, he would want to talk to Sneako and hash it out, which is the right thing to do. That's what 2 adults can do. I think that's an important point. Sneako said something at one point in the conversation. I like what Charlie did. He goes, no. We're not talking about one country. We're talking in general. And when Sneako, you know, my assumption is my interpretation is that he was putting words into Charlie's mouth. Charlie said, no. You're not doing that here. That's how people clear up misunderstandings, or at the very least have that conversation in a way that other people can see that you're not agreeing. That's cool. That's fine. People can agree to disagree. It seems that what Sneako did, it's kind of this gotcha thing of like real life clipping. I'm thinking of Dr. Peterson. Shout out to the good doctor. What's up, Michaela? That Kathy Newman interview.
But you're just saying that's the way it is.
Well, I'm not saying anything. It's just an observation that that's the way it is. And that
So
you
you're
can
saying
rely on.
women have some sort of duty to sort of help fix the crisis of masculinity.
It depends on what they want.
So
So
you're
if you
saying
want
women
domination,
want to dominate. Is that what you're saying?
no, I'd say
So if I've got this right, Charlie is kind of saying that Sneako basically caught him in like real life clipping, just trying to trap him. And I don't know, man, this seems pretty gross. Discussions are great for clearing things up. I say let the jerks talk, let the nice people talk, let the assholes talk, let the saints talk, and then let people think for themselves. But this idea of just shouting people down because we disagree with them or we think we disagree with them, I don't know if it's conducive to a society that has free speech and has people enjoying the ability to think freely. There's a point in the interview where Kathy Newman goes, why should your right to free speech trump a trans person's right to not be offended? And he goes, because in order to think, you need to risk being offensive. Yes, that's a truism right there. Dr. Peterson, love you to death. Do I agree with every single thing you've said or done? No, there's no one that I do that. And honestly, get him the fuck off Twitter. Dr. Peterson, these crazy troll demons, they're fucking you up, man. Can relate. Get out of there. Charlie, I like that you reached out to Sneako. I like that you wanted to have a conversation with him. It's a nice tactic. I'm really glad you did that instead of recording your chat with him privately and then immediately posting it on Twitter, pretending that you're so mad and it's the worst thing ever that happened to you. Ah. And he said, yeah, someone scary for someone with that position and that level of influence. I agree. Charlie, we're going to come back to that. So let's talk a little bit about that. Someone who there's a responsibility. It's incumbent on them to understand and be cognizant of the power that they wield with their platform. Charlie, you have a massive influence, dude, whether you like it or not. You know, in your video, you're like, oh, I'm just a below average guy and below average height, and I'm just giving my opinions. No, I mean, that may be how you see yourself, but that's not what's going on here. And I probably am not the only person you've caused pain. And now that I'm going to be telling you about a lot of this, you can't say you don't know, sir. Me, my friends, my family, you indirectly caused us a lot of pain. You allowed that attack on me to continue even when she was done. You got to be careful about how you wield that influence. And, you know, I've heard you saying, yo, I'm just a guy. I've got to wonder how many other content creators feel the same and that they view themselves the same. But they're like, listen, I'm just talking about shit that I like. If someone else gets hurt, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to draw a connection here that I just find it really unfortunate as we're talking about this, that you've built such a strong foundation on calling out and exposing creeps. You know, all these gotcha moments and clowning on people. I don't know if it's good for society. I don't know if I feel it's a great way to make money. I think even one of the comments I saw kind of said this. He makes a whole career off of clowning on people and criticizing people he disagrees with. But the instant he gets shit for having a bad take or a more controversial take than rape equals bad, he leaves. LMAO. All right, well, I see Molly's point. I don't know. That even feels like piling on Charlie and kicking a man when he's down, but there's definitely something there. I saw a comment the other day in one of Asmon's videos. Shout out to the creator. Love you. Asmon, you're cool too, but all kudos go to the creator and Asmon's great fans. It's like, you don't want this creator to be talking about, you don't want Moist Cr1tikal to be talking about, you don't want CoffeeZilla to be looking in your finances. I had no idea Charlie was known for exposing creeps. Illiterate creep, creepiest game developer, complete loser. This guy gives the worst advice. Don't be like this guy. This person's a scammer. Yeah, dude, you've made a career off of it. I don't think you can just say, oh, I'm just a guy that's doing this. Like, I don't love it. I don't love what it says about our society. But you do have a massive influence and you can't escape that. And you've built a foundation on that. And I wonder how many other people you've hurt or caused a negative effect to. Just talking about social contracts and like ethical responsibility, folks, where do we draw the line if there is even a line here? You know, if I'm having a conversation with someone, is it just up for grabs? Is anything you've ever done and will ever do, if someone just happens to screen record it like a piece of shit or happens to have their phone up, that's it? It just ends up on the internet and we're all just gonna clown on someone? I don't know when we all agreed to this. And you might just think, well, guys, that's the way it is. That's something I heard a lot the past year. You know, Ryan, that's how Twitter is. That's how the internet is. And I'm sitting here going, no. Y'all ever heard that quote? The one thing necessary, I'm paraphrasing terribly. The one thing, you know what? Tito's will help me. I'm like Popeye, but a drunk. Sponsor me, Tito's. Have you guys ever heard that quote? I'm paraphrasing here, again, probably terribly. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. See something, say something. If you spot it, oh, I'm messing stuff up. If you spot it, you got it, cool. I'm seeing that this is just a thing in our society. People go, well, that's the way Twitter is. That's the way the internet is. And I'm sitting here going, no. No, no, no. I doth protest in the strongest possible terms. Fucking no. This is not a thing we let happen. I'm not standing by and letting this be a thing that we do. What happened to me and those that I love was a level of cruelty that should not exist in society. It is a tool that has no purpose but to spread malice and hate. I just think we're reinforcing a lot of structures in society that don't serve people and help them. You can't plead ignorance anymore, guys. A lot of damage was done to my life by people that just wanted to pass the buck to somebody else.
He eventually called me on Discord. I was under the impression this was just him and I talking.
You had a conversation with someone. You had an impression that it was just a conversation, the two of you. And later it ended up on the internet and it didn't feel good for you. Charlie, have I got a story for you. Can relate. Can relate. Just to draw on the connection here, Charlie, I really feel for you. Back when this whole thing blew up in my face last June. Yeah, you know, the person that did this to me was not nice and pure of heart, as they desperately try to get us to believe. She was unbelievably malicious and bitter and had a lot of hatred and spite that I did not deserve, since I have never met her, nor did I wrong her in any way. And I always thought that if someone was offended or didn't like something, they would just tell me, or if they didn't want to continue to hear from me, they just let me know. This person didn't say a thing to me. I didn't get a chance to have a discussion. They just went right to cosplaying a victim and immediately switched up to attacker and doxing and ripping apart my life while soliciting donations at every turn. Some real shameful shit. So in the same way, Charlie, that I guess if you said something offensive to Sneako, he'd be like, whoa, dude, not cool. And there was a few times where you told him like, hey, that's not all right, man. You're putting words in my mouth, as it should be. I never really got that opportunity with the person who did this to me. I never got that opportunity at all. There was absolutely no gap between a misunderstanding of a potential social misstep and fuck you forever, lose your friends, lose your job, and leave the planet forever. In perpetuity, you suck. I've noticed something in Charlie's other creep exposing videos. Out of everyone that he exposes this way and paints as a creep or a bad person, I think I'm the only person that didn't consent to being online. I thought I was having a private conversation with a private citizen who answered me, who put themselves online. Everyone else, they're a TikToker, a radio host, and this and that. And now we're getting into the dark stuff here.
So being totally honest, I used to treat the internet as an escape from my dog shit real life. Truly unhappy, really hated most of everything about myself, and the internet was my escape from it. But now it's really become that real life is the escapism for me now.
You know what, Charlie? It seems to me that you're either faking emotion really well or feeling it. And I know exactly how you feel. There were times where my life was just dog shit, fat, shitty, awful, nothing really on the horizon. But I know how you feel. And Charlie, I do appreciate that you're being vulnerable and honest with us. That's a scary thing to do. You almost sound like me, just a little bit less intelligent and definitely not with as nice of a voice and poopy butt. There was a time in my mid to late 20s where my life was just awful. There was nothing good on the horizon. I had yet to figure out that I could sing and play guitar. Probably still can't. Cunt. My life was terrible. I mean, I had nothing going on, and I was doing all sorts of negative behaviors for cheap dopamine fixes. I'm going to be honest with you. I sought a lot of validation and essentially outsourcing my self-esteem from my shitty life just through dating, you know, getting people on the phone, messaging, meeting up. But Charlie, you sound like me. That's something I used to say about myself all the time. And it's been a while since I revisited this chapter of my life. But in my mid to late 20s, even going into my early 30s, I was wildly unhappy. Charlie, I do appreciate that you're being vulnerable and honest with us. That's a scary thing to do. It's very important for society to see that too. I see you owning up to the wrong things here, but trying to take accountability. I think it's really important what you're talking about here is you're touching on mental health and just the difficulty that comes with being perennially online. I think Charlie says he didn't know Sneako was putting it online. I don't know. What'd you do getting on the phone with that guy? You thought he was gonna play safe and fair? And you're talking for an hour and a half. Isn't this like your arch nemesis?
And I've always said for the entire time I've been on the internet, I'm not special. I'm literally just a normal guy who got very lucky. I just sit here, joke about shit, talk about my opinion on things, and nothing else. I don't have a unique perspective on things. I don't have deep insight into the vicissitudes of certain things. I am literally just a guy who yaps, has some fun, talks about shit, does some wacky stuff as well, and that's it. It's just not that deep.
I have to wonder, how many other creators think this way? Oh, I'm just a guy, I'm just a girl, I'm just sharing stuff that's fun for me. That's how you guys think? Okay. Can we look at all the other creators here who have this reactionary comment on this reactionary content rather on Charlie and everyone else? You guys are contributing to this gotcha culture, and he said this, and all this salacious bullshit, and this wave of just trying to clip each other and being nasty and shit. Oh, we're just having fun, guys. How many of you view it the same as Charlie? I'm just a guy that, you know, talks about poop and butts and, you know, it's just little old me. I didn't dox or do anything mean. It's not directly me. I'm just arming people with the stuff to do it. Okay. I'd like to use an example. You've all seen kids bullying. We all agree bullying is bad? Cool. You'll walk up at some kids roughhousing with another kid, and you can see that it's not all right. And how many times when you see that, you go up and you'll say, hey, stop that. And the bullies will say, what? We're just having fun. What? We're just having fun. We're just enjoying ourselves. And then what would a sensible adult do? Go to the kid who's being bullied and say, it doesn't look like it's very fun for them. I'm not saying that this act encapsulates you, but part of being a man is taking responsibility for things you've done, even if you didn't mean them. And in addition to that, where do we draw the line between reacting and commentating on these things or just straight up bullying and attacking people? Canceling someone just means trying to drag them down in any fucking way possible. You don't always have to have commentary for these things, and I think Charlie's touching an important point here. He's doing a lot of this stuff. A lot of, lawyers, cops, whatever, a lot of people arrive at this point where it's like you become something you didn't intend. And you end up reacting to stuff and reading through it. You don't even want to. You're doing it because you feel you have to. Charlie's clearly affected by the comments because he lives in this cesspool of nastiness and exposing people and this and that, and it's not good for him. I can see his mental health taking a decline. No bueno. But yeah, guys, I'm asking some of these questions, and I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a moron. I play guitar and I sing to seniors and drunk people. A lot of overlap there, by the way. I go to the park, I feed ducks, swans, and geese, and yes, the plum fets are real. I'll show you them soon. I don't know my ass from my feet. I'm still very much learning how to take care of myself. It's been a hell of a year.
I sit down for like 30 to 45 minutes on like a topic or like a video that I'm joking around about, and I talk about it. I am legitimately just an average, below average height guy who's about to turn 30. I'm not just spitting.
Should have talked about the size of his feet. Girls love that, Charlie.
Hot takes out the wazoo here. I'm just being myself. That's all this channel ever has been. And now it's become super controversial to do that.
You're saying I'm just being myself and now it's controversial. For me in particular, one thing I thought when I first saw this is you're feeling like being yourself is controversial. Whatever you do can be controversial, Charlie, whether it's an opinion you actually hold or it's something you think we all want to hear. It's okay to be controversial. Obviously, Charlie, there's something here. There's some sort of demand for your services and type of... There's a demand for your services and type of content. I can be honest with you guys. I find Charlie's content to be like one step up from Ouch My Balls from Idiocracy. People like what they like, and it's not my place to throw stones. It's not for me. And you know what? I bet a lot of the things I'm into and me talking is not for you guys. And that's fine. The differences are what make the world go around. But you can't just say, I'm just some guy. No, dude, you've got a big platform. That's a lot of power that you wield. I think Charlie confiding in us and telling us that this is taking a toll on his mental health and that he's not enjoying himself anymore and that it's bad for him. I think that's important. I think anytime a man can speak up and talk about his mental health, A+ to you. So we're talking a lot about exposure and this culture of gotcha stuff and his responsibility. Is there any? These are important questions to ask as a creator, especially with almost 16 million subscribers. What person do you know could survive? How would they react to having a private set of messages of theirs, a conversation listened to by more than 40 million people? What person could make it through that who isn't a content creator, who's just a fucking idiot playing guitar and feeding waterfowl? So Charlie just saying like, I'm just a guy and for sure you are just a guy. We know this. You're just a person and you've been in the game for so long. I don't really know if you can plead ignorance here on the power that you wield. I honestly think you are being unfathomably irresponsible with the gotcha moments and exploiting people, especially people that aren't in the game. Think about it this way, guys. For a normal person who doesn't have 16 million followers or subs, who hasn't created any content for a number of years, what would it be like for that person to have the entire internet dogpiling onto them? What could it do to have the entire internet descend upon you while you're being doxxed and harassed and defamed and slandered?
Like anytime I go live, most of chat is just telling me about the latest in whatever's happening in the creator space or some other like extremely negative thing going on. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to learn all about that once I turn stream off. So then I spend a few hours learning about these things and it's all just really upsetting stuff. Like
Charlie, did you just say that when people send you stories, you take a few hours to look into them and do some research? Charlie, is that what you said? Charlie, you say you do research, but if you would have looked into this story and who it was shared by, if you would have spent 10 minutes, 5 minutes, even 2 minutes looking into it, you would have found a tweet from the day before where she was yelling and ranting in all caps about hating all men and how they're moving through the world and how she wants to destroy one. Did you just not do any of this research in my case? You really got me good. And your fans are still doxing me in the comments. They're still harassing. They're still spreading awful bullshit. I lost track of how many death threats I got just from your comments alone. Unintentionally, but I'm telling you now, you allowed this cyberbullying campaign, this attack against me, to intensify and continue on much longer than it would have. Guys, for those of you that know me from Charlie's video, I get where most of you are coming from. I do. As much as it pains me to say that, I am doing my best to relate to you here. I do have trouble relating to most people in general, so give me a bit of room here, okay? Is that fair? All I'm really trying to do here, folks, is just ask some thought-provoking questions. You know, these types of creators who make content exploiting other people, other creators, and even people that aren't in the game, do they have some sort of ethical responsibility to do due diligence? You tell me. Let me know what you think in the comments. The truth of it is, though, Charlie, you leaked a leaked message. You leaked a leaked conversation. It's like revenge porn. It was something that was shared in confidence. And I can't bring myself to watch the video. I sure know what you said based on the comments and the messages I get from people, and still do. But I have a really hard time hearing myself talk and seeing the numbers under the video. I don't understand how all of this came from something so innocuous. And it feels gross to know that this many people have peered into my life in this way. And you guys don't even know the rest of the stuff that came along with it. Again, guys, all I'm trying to do is make the point here that these creators do have an ethical responsibility. Where is the line between exploiting someone and reacting to it? What's with these gotcha moments and people just trying to catch each other in clips and make content off of people's headfirst falls and worst moments in life? What are we doing here, just rubbernecking on private shit and mocking people and piling on? Is this what the internet's for? It's no bueno. I loathe this shit. I felt strongly about this stuff before this all happened to me, and now y'all deputize me in this conversation. I am not going anywhere. I'm going to squeal like the fat trauma weight. I'm back in ketosis, I'll have you know. I have trimmed down that 70 pounds of trauma weight I've got. We're at about like 58 now. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to have abs. Never, ever will you ever see my abs. So I don't know if Charlie meant to do this, but I can tell you unequivocally that he inadvertently contributed to something so much larger and darker and way more negative than any of you guys can fucking imagine. I do know that that level of ignorance from him, that level of foolhardiness, that level of comfort with exploiting strangers, I do know that it is unbelievably fucking reckless and dangerous even. He should know better. And now that you've been told, you can't say that you don't know anymore. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I could see you're upset. I think there's an opportunity here to be a man and to own up to things you've done. The truth is, Charlie, you leaked a leaked conversation. You made content on revenge porn, basically. Something that was shared in confidence between two consenting adults and then leaked to the internet out of pure hatred, contempt, and malice for all men. This is not my opinion. This is my claim. I'm using these extremely precise words for a reason. And I can't do it. I can't watch the video about me. I can't. It's too upsetting. It's too strange to hear my voice and see all the numbers underneath the video. I don't understand how all of this took place from something so innocuous that could have been solved with a conversation or just blocking and moving on. And I don't know if I'll ever get it. But it sure seems you had a great time ripping apart my personality, my life, and my entire existence for $1. I hope you guys had a lot of fun, because it was not fun for me and mine. And whatever you may think about me, know that nobody deserves this. Appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Please be kind to people. For the love of God, just keep it together. I know it's hard. Just keep it together. I'm not going anywhere. This is Ryan Andrews, a.k.a. Pato Papi, a.k.a. Duck Daddy, signing off. All right. I'm serious, bro. I'm fucking serious. Is it this one I look at? Oh, my back. Dude, I'm so gay. Okay.